D.1 Pharmaceutical Products and Drug Addiction by Katerina de-la-Borda. So in this section, I will focus on recreational drugs, specifically alcohol. But what are recreational drugs? They're drugs used without a medical prescription. They're used for its psychoactive effect, believing that the occasional use of a certain substance isn't addictive. These are drugs such as cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, heroin, etc. The effects of medicine and drugs in the human body. It can cause a modification of incoming sensory consciousness, the modification of mood or emotion, and a modification of psychological state like physical coordination, activity levels, and consciousness. So an example is here, a police testing a man that he believes that he's drunk. So when people are drunk, they lose their physical coordination. So he's testing if the man can walk on a straight line. So alcohol specifically as agonists and antagonists. Agonists, seen here, are drugs that occupy receptors and activate them. And antagonists are drugs that occupy receptors but they do not activate them. They block receptor activation by agonists. So here are three images that show how it works a little bit. So I'm going to focus on ethanol, which is C2H6O, and here's the structure. It's found in beer, wine, and liquor. Ethanol is a depressant in the central nervous system that is quickly absorbed from the stomach and the small intestine in the blood system. A depressant is a drug that aims at the nervous system, the brain, and the recognition of stimuli. It's produced by fermentation of yeast, sugars, and starches. The effects of ethanol on the brain. It hampers with the brain's communication pathways, and it can affect the function and structure of the brain. It can also alter the mood and behavior. It can make it more difficult to think clearly and to move with coordination. So, for example, first you choose to do the drug because you like how it feels, you like your mood to change, or you just you like being in the state of drunk. Then it becomes a psychological, which leads to addictive behavior. So it's sort of like a cycle. The effects on the heart, it can cause problems like cardiomyopathy, which is a disease on the heart muscle, as seen here, that it makes the walls of the heart thinner and weaker. It can cause arrhythmias, which is an inconsistent heartbeat, and it can also cause a stroke and high blood pressure. And on the immune system, it can make the body more vulnerable for disease. Drinking a lot shows the body's capacity to beat off infections, even up to 24 hours after getting drunk. So daily drinkers or alcoholics are more susceptible to contract diseases like pneumonia and tuberculosis than people who do not drink as much. So a little bit of history. Dried ethanol debris was found on a 9,000-year-old pottery in China, which hints that the Neolithic people in China and this part of the world may have consumed alcoholic drinks. Also, techniques for alcohol production developed millennia ago by various Middle Eastern and Far Eastern cultures. Ancient Egyptian papyrus scrolls have directions for making beer from dates and other plant foods using ethanol. And pure alcohol couldn't be made at this time. So it was always mixed with water, flavorings, and plant residue from the original fermentation. So some alcohol tolerance. A tolerance is what drinkers need to increase the consumption quantity to get the same psychological effect. So here is a graph that helps a little bit with the time and the effect and the administration of alcohol. And here is a chart that shows as you have as you weigh more, you can have more drinks to be considered drunk. And the bibliography. Thank you.